Jeff Fischel here on the ACC Digital Network. It's time for a spring football update. Let's talk the Florida State Seminoles, the national champs, and let's bring in Gene Williams from warchant.com. He knows everything about the Noles, including everything they've done this spring. And we have to start with Heisman Trophy winner Jameis Winston. Gene, you know, he's been playing baseball, but he flies in on the day of the spring game, flings it around 56 times, and takes off again. What's your thought about how it went all spring? Was there too much on Jameis's plate this spring?
You know, for the first time since he's been at Florida State, he actually looked a little tired to me. You could tell he was worn out from playing baseball, playing football, having to deal with his studies and everything else. But still, like you said, he threw it 56 times during the game. We knew going in that was going to happen because they don't have a single scholarship tailback that's healthy. Now, they're all expected to be healthy in a couple months in time for the season. So we kind of knew going in that Jameis Winston and all the quarterbacks are going to throw a lot. So it was fun for the fans to watch him do that. No
doubt. And you mentioned no running backs healthy. Karlos Williams now becomes the man, right? What should Noles fans expect from him this year? His first full year as a tailback and now likely the starting tailback.
Well, it's amazing how quickly he burst on the scene whenever he had that 60-yard touchdown the first time he touched the football. And this guy's been a physical freak. He's 230 pounds. He runs a 4.4. He's incredibly athletic, and he made the move, as you mentioned, last year to tailback his first year. With a year under his belt to learn how to do that position, the sky's the limit. There's even some people throwing him around as a Heisman, a dark horse Heisman candidate. That might be a little bit of a stretch because there's going to share carries with a lot of guys like incoming phenom Dalvin Cook and some others. But I tell you, he is going to be a lot of fun to watch for Seminole fans this fall.
Now, a Jameis Winston target is Nick O'Leary, who really needs to stay away from motorcycles. I think we can all agree on that. What's the update on Nick?
Nick's fine again. I think this time it was a dirt bike. Last time it was a motorcycle. I think any two-wheeled conveyance he needs to be totally prohibited from this point forward. Bikes, anything. But yeah, it was another time he banged himself up. He swelled his ankle up. But again, it's a situation where he got lucky again. Should be fine in a few weeks. So he'll be, assuming he stays off those two-wheel conveyances, he should be 100% in time for practices in August.
All right, yes, it's good advice for Nick. Let's just find a different mode of transportation. Let's flip to the other side of the ball, the defense. We know last year, Telvin Smith and LaMarcus Joyner were really the vocal leaders on this team. They're both gone. Who stepped up really in a leadership role in the defense?
You know, that may be the number one question on the defense. Who is that going to be? I think on the defensive line, I think Mario Edwards, a former five-star recruit, really came to his own at the end of last season, was dominating the spring game. I think he's got to be one of those guys. You know, in the defense and the secondary, they got a couple guys out there. You know, maybe a guy like Jalen Ramsey, who was a freshman All-American last year. He's going to be out there. He seems to be that guy who's just got that knack.
All right, last thing, the nightmare scenario. Jameis Winston gets hurt at some point. How are the Noles? How does Jimbo feel about a backup quarterback situation if Jameis, for whatever reason, goes down?
Well, I think he felt a lot better about that at the conclusion of the spring. Sean McGuire, who has kind of been slated, he got all the reps basically with the number twos all spring, showed steady progress, had a very solid spring game, went out there, completed a lot of passes. But again, at the end of the day, not to belittle Sean McGuire, but he's not Jameis Winston. There is only one Jameis Winston in college football. So there's going to be a drop, but I think he can manage the game. I think he can be a competent quarterback for Florida State. Should, like you said, heaven forbid, Jameis Winston do that.
All right, Gene Williams, great stuff on this spring football update for Florida State. Really appreciate it. You can follow Gene, all his work, at warchant.com. I'm Jeff Fischel. This is the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.